I got my scarf, got my old coat. I got a 40 game to go to. 40's on, 40's here again. Back to greet me like an old friend. And well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about. Yeah, that's the thing about football. I'll meet a friend outside the ground. We'll argue over who's gonna win. He'll go for his team, I for mine. We'll watch him slug it out right to the end. And show me the crowd and I'll take my place. I'm hungry for the taste of it. And well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about. Yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what football means to me. That's how I like my footy to be. And well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about. Yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what I like about. Yeah, that's the thing about.
Worldwide filming footy stream coverage of the 2023 Hills Football League season. Jeff Pistola and the Call of the Wild team here, all set to get back in the action after a fortnight's break through Easter and last Saturday's very successful AFL Gavel round venture into the Adelaide Hills. But finally we reach round 2 and a bit of history on offer as we get set to watch the visiting Mt Lofty Devils take on the newly created Ironbank Bridgewater Cherry Gardens combination for the first time. So a lot to look forward to here on the Vibe of Hills football. And back on deck after rubbing shoulders with some of the big names in the AFL world is our own Benny Goldfinch. Welcome, Benny.
Oh, Pistols, great to be here from Aztec Oval, correct, for this big clash, round 2. Bit different, a couple of weeks off, so we're ready to go. Wasn't sure what round it is, but no, very much looking forward to this. Sun's out, so probably be a bit chilly later on, but at the moment, perfect conditions here from Bridgewater.
And joining us as usual is a man who is probably still figuring out how many Easter eggs he consumed or autographs he signed at the Clare races over the break. The Call of the Wild numbers man, the Sultan of Stats, Jayden Jay Hill.
Pistols, thank you. Great to be here. Goldy, welcome. Should be an absolute cracker. The average margin between Mt Lofty and Bridgewater is 24.3 in the last 3 encounters here at Bridgewater. So this should be a great match. Obviously, last time at Bridgewater, Mt Lofty got the chocolate. So it'll be interesting to see if the Devils can make it 2 on the trot here at Bridgewater.
Of course, our technical team all ready to bring you outstanding community football coverage. The Prince of Producers, Tommy Hills, is with us.
Yeah, you see his work on the screen right now, Pistols.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, James Davis is putting his talents to good use behind the camera lens, and of course you can see the Anzac Memorial, which is just up on top of the hill. Dog of the day already, Benny?
Yep, and of course we're on relay through Lofty 88.9, Adelaide Hills Community Radio with altitude, so fantastic stuff, Pistols. And a big match today, the Cutting Memorial Challenge Cup up for grabs.
Absolutely, the 23rd edition of the Neil Cutting Memorial Cup. We'll get that a little bit later, but of course we're going to say a big thanks to our worldwide Call of the Wild stream media supporters, Benny, because Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, Dartfish and the HFL sponsors for the season, Police Credit Union, Closey Supermarkets, West End, Sports Power, Sharon, the Courier newspaper, Good Read Guaranteed, Rossdale Homes, Think Road Safety and Sports Centre. And today's participating clubs wish to thank their wonderful sponsors for the hosting Ironbank Bridgewater Cherry Gardens Club, the Bridgewater Inn, McGain Real Estate, Fraser Gardens and Aztec Developments, and for the visiting Mt Lofty Football Club, 24 Fit, Duxton, Capital Australia, Arkabar Hotel and BMD. So as we said, plenty to look forward to as we look at the once regular home of the Raiders. Perhaps a signal of a changing face of Hills footy here with the something of a pre-merger agreement between Ironbank Cherry Gardens and Bridgewater in place, so we'll see how that plays out. But we are lucky to be joined here by post-match from a man who probably would prefer to be out there playing, but the man who's represented both clubs with that distinction as we cross down to that man, Jayden Jay Hill, who'll take us through pre-match with Samuel Miles.
Thank you, Pistols. Sam Miles, welcome to the Call of the Wild. If you don't mind, just take us through your footy journey throughout the years.
Oh, mate, Mt Lofty as a youngster, and then spent a bit of time playing down the hill, and then a good stint at Mt Lofty, and then last couple of years at Bridgewater as the playing coach. But red and white again this year for me, mate. So yeah, back at Mt Lofty.
Yeah, and how's it been? Back at Mt Lofty, obviously the team had a thumping win round one. Just take us through how it's been back at the Devils.
I've really enjoyed it. So wasn't sure whether I was going to play or not this year, Jayden, and then Michael Borden, the coach, sort of put a bit of pressure on me over Christmas, and then it's a very young side who they're all enthusiastic. I've enjoyed sort of being a part of it, mate. It's been excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, is that one of the reasons trying to be, putting your experience to those young players and being a leader as well?
I think that was part of it. Boards recognised it was a pretty young group, so needed a few old heads in amongst it, which I definitely am. Yeah.
And also, just tell us about your injury. So, unfortunately, you're not out there today. Tell us about your injury.
Oh, no, yeah, I was very keen to come back to Towers Road and have a kick today, mate, but, I got a little hip niggle, so old man injury, and I'll hopefully come good in a week or two.
Yeah. And speaking about that thumping win the other week, who's really impressed you in round one and also in the pre-season as well?
Yeah, there's a lot of young guys, actually. It's a really good young group. JK's just one who's stood out to me. You'll notice him today, number 5, I reckon he is. He'll play in the midfield a bit up forward. Big Sykesy, who came across to us this year, kicked 5 in round 1. He looks like a really nice target. And then Tyson Hones, another one back from Stir. He's pretty electric, so you'll enjoy watching him today.
Yeah, just about ask about Tyson. Obviously, kicking the ball forward and having him lurking around is pretty handy for the Devils.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely a goal sneak. He knows where they are, and he'll do a bit of midfield time too. He's pretty quick. He's nippy. Yeah.
And how do you go, obviously, playing at Mt Lofty home games and then coming to Bridgewater, adapting to, I guess, a smaller ground? Do you train that during the week? Or
We actually did, yeah. Board sort of measured it up on Thursday night and showed the dimensions of the ground. It's a bit unique. You sort of got to embrace it when you come here. Like if you don't, it can catch you out. So got to play slightly differently on the smaller ground.
Yeah, and obviously you're familiar playing at this ground. Do you think it was an advantage when you played here at Bridgewater? Or?
Definitely. Yeah, there's some sort of quirks to the ground that if you embrace and you go with it, it can definitely help the team. I think a lot of teams come here too and don't like it much. So you sort of got to come with a positive attitude, ready for the contest, which. Yeah, hopefully Boards has got the boys ready to do today.
Yeah, and obviously you've been on both ends of the crowds and stuff. To tell us, does it get quite rowdy behind the brick wall here at Bridgewater? Or?
A little bit, mate. Over by the green shed, there's lots of advice from lots of blokes who probably don't know what they're talking about, but that's okay. That's part of it.
Yeah, fair enough. And a beautiful day for footy. How have the guys gone, obviously, with the two-week break? Quite unique, really, isn't it? So how have they gone with that?
It was funny. Like we obviously got a bit of momentum out of round 1. It would have been nice to roll on into another couple of weeks, but again, you sort of everyone had the same break. So yeah, we trained pretty hard through the couple of weeks off, and yeah, we're fresh and good to go today. So it should be good.
Yep, and yourself, obviously would love to be playing for finals footy again. Is that, I guess, a major goal for the group this year to play finals footy, which Mt Lofty haven't for a while? So it would be great to play finals footy not only for yourself but also for the Devils.
No, you can't shy away from it. That's why we're playing is to be there in the last few weeks of it for sure. So yeah, the team's made it pretty clear that's what our goal is, and yeah, just got to get the wins on the board early to make sure it happens, mate.
Yeah, and I think Pistols has got some. Questions?
Sammy, good to see you once again. Pity we can't see the little master in action, but no doubt later in the season. Can I just ask you, obviously you coached successfully, a premiership coach Mt Lofty at juniors. Yep. You've come down in the last 2 years. How did you find the transition, obviously playing coach, but also is it still aspirations for you to be a senior coach in the future?
I'd say I absolutely love my time here at Bridgie. Like everyone embraced me. I really enjoyed the coaching role, Jeff. Obviously had a bit of change at home during the off-season. Little fella was born, so I knew I just couldn't put the time in to do the coaching. So I think, yes, down the track I probably will have another look at trying to do it. But for now I'm pretty happy just rolling up and playing, mate, while I still can. Yeah.
And what's happened to the, and I must add you're an unbeaten coach in the Neil Cutting Cup Challenge games over the last 2 years, so well done on that. what's happened with the Bridgewater situation, amalgamation or merger, whatever you call it, is a bit disappointing because you were actually, and obviously the President Squizzy Bryce led the club back into Division 1 ranks, showed you could hold your own, but in space of, 2 years, it's sort of all, unfortunately, just
it's a tricky one.
Unravelled.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I felt like in my time here, the senior group did have quite a good culture going. We had some pretty great wins over the last couple of years for a team who'd come up from country division. It was tricky. It was sort of held together by a few people, and when they sort of decided they'd maybe got tired or had enough, it was always going to struggle a bit. I don't know. I've sort of distanced myself from it a tiny bit, but yeah, a bit disappointing that a lot of guys have moved on and gone elsewhere. Yeah.
And just lastly, Sam, what do you think is going to transpire today? Who's looking for a big bag today?
I called it, I think Felix Farmer, who's in for his first game today. Over summer I've enjoyed watching him go about it. I reckon he'll jag a few, mate. I'll call him for 4 goals, I reckon.
Awesome. Well, hopefully Fuels take the Devils get up. Great to have you, Sam, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Jayden. Cheers, guys. Thanks, Jeff.
Back to you guys.
Thank you very much there to Sammy Miles, giving us a bit of his pre-match. And, a bit disappointing as you see some images of Neil Cutting, of course, the Neil Cutting Memorial Cup being played this afternoon, the 23rd edition. And of course, some pictures of Neil started his career at the mighty Heathfield Aldgate United Football Club, graduated through to Mt Lofty and then to Bridgewater. Picture Neil left of screen at the front there when they actually won the Courier Cup. Older brother Hayden holding up the Courier Cup there, and what a great and good article there written by someone during the week in the Courier, just talking about Neil Cutting. I said 25 years ago since he passed away, sadly at the age of 44. But the cup is very coveted possession between the two clubs. As I said, 22 times it's been played for. Bridgewater with the nose in front, 12-10. And of course the cup wasn't played for something like 7 years, I think, Jayden, because they were in separate divisions. It was reinstated in 2021, as I mentioned, Sammy Miles, that coincide with him coming down to coach Bridgewater, and they've won the past 2. So they're actually on a 4-game winning streak in the Cutting Cup, Jayden, which if they win today will equal the record of 5 which Mt Lofty hold during the 2000s.
Yes, correct. And like you said, so 2013 was the last one, and then before they came back Bridgewater to Division 1 in 2021. So yeah, round 3, 2021. We were here, and Bridgewater stormed over the top of Mt Lofty in the last quarter to win 12-14-86 to 8-10-58. So it'll be interesting to see if that can happen again, Pistols.
Absolutely, but as I said, a good crowd in the house, and for those playing along at home, the reserves, Mt Lofty in good control here, 17-9. The Raiders 4-3, so into the last quarter here, but a picture perfect day down here, and well, they just keep on coming here on the Call of the Wild. It's our pleasure to have the president of Ironbank Bridgewater. I'll just have to ask him about the official club title that he's involved with. Brandon Chapman joins us here on the Call of the Wild. Brandon, thanks for your time.
It's great to be here. It's a beautiful day for footy.
Now, could you just, for those, as I said, listening at home, and just for the curious people in the Call of the Wild team, how's it all panning out?
It's coming together. It was all a bit of a shock, you know. It all kind of happened a few days after the end of the season, and we got a call from Bridgewater, and we had a few very important meetings in the first few days, and it was a pretty crazy 7 weeks, I think, for Bridgewater and also for Ironbank, and it was hard work, but I think we did a pretty good job because we got to the end of November and we both had meetings with our members and both voted unanimously for a memorandum of understanding to get together for this season and work towards a merger. So far, so good.
We'd like to know officially what will refer to you in today's call, because Ironbank Bridgewater Cherry Gardens Football Club's a lot to get out. The Thunderers or the Raiders or Iron Raiders. Brandon, what do you prefer?
Well, we haven't actually got to the clarity on that. It's interesting you should say, and I write a weekly email, and I just been calling it IBCGFC News. So we actually haven't got around all that because some of that stuff's important and not important, if you know what I mean. Nicknames and things
It's
like that.
not something you could adjectively use like the skibbies or something as a cricket club. But,
Well, I guess until we sort that out for 2024,
Yep.
probably the best thing is our juniors have been playing together.
Yes.
So that was one of the easy
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
Our 14s and 16s and 18s, and they've been calling themselves Iron Raiders.
Yep.
So that's kind of worked all right. They've got the Ironbank, we've got the Raiders. We're both fortunate where we both have histories around V's. So
Yes.
the Guernseys come together pretty well. We've got the both clubs have sort of brought the V back together with, you know, and then you've got 4 colours, double blues and green and gold. So anyway, it's come together, and we're looking forward to the season.
So logistically, how do you put this all together? Because do you still have the 2 training bases, the juniors training here?
Yeah,
So
well,
the majority are from Bridgewater.
Yeah. So no, well, what's interesting is basically everything's together. There's most of the trainings in terms of seniors, senior men, have been at Ironbank, and the majority of home games will be at Ironbank. There's obviously a history with Mt Lofty here with the Cutting Cup, so hence the first home game is at Bridgewater. But we are using both ovals, even though because it's a big arrangement. You've got not only just Saturday footy, we've got a senior women's team, we have a C grade team, there's a 14s girls team. So probably 60 to 70% of games are at Ironbank, 30% are here. And they're in both places because our women's will play here, but they'll also play at Ironbank. So, but the majority of training, certainly Thursday nights, are at Ironbank because there's a setup. The one thing that Ironbank has with its rec ground, it has a great setup socially.
Yes.
Whereas Bridgewater don't have the facilities that Ironbank now has, so that works well.
Yep. And the squad has changed a hell of a lot, the Bridgewater squad, obviously. And what about from the Ironbank perspective, obviously coming up from Country Division last year? A lot of people taking on the challenge to be back in Div 1.
Yeah, well, that's what we've got to work out with piecing up. We've gone into every country season thinking we could go top, right?
Yeah.
So now it's a brand new world. So you're bringing together a group from Bridgewater, a group from Ironbank, and then we've got quite a few new recruits from other leagues and elsewhere. So, and it's young. We'd already kind of had a pretty youngish team the last couple of years at Ironbank in country. So it's a young group, and you're kind of bringing 3 lots of people together under a new coach.
Yeah.
So, and then of course for the Ironbank guys and people who haven't been playing in the HFL the last few years, we've got to kind of work out what the level is. So there's a whole bunch of unknowns for us.
What was the feeling around the club? Because obviously people have been there. I know you've been there for a while, but people have been there since early days of Ironbank.
Yeah.
You've had stints in Div 1 and perhaps haven't been successful, the ultimate.
Yes.
Been to Div 2 and or country. Your best seasons have come in that, 4 flags have all been won in that competition. So are you coming back just up, and when you look at it, you think, if we're still in country, we'd be winning flags.
Yeah. Well, there was that, but you know what? The issue was the juniors, right? And so what had worked nicely for us is that we could keep juniors operating with our relationship with Bridgewater into Div 1, knowing that they had a game every week. We kept Bridgewater operating because they needed our players.
Yep.
We had to make a decision for the short, medium and long term. And in the short term, we had to make a decision around juniors that if we stayed in country, what would this mean for juniors and what kind of competition would there be? So we had to make a short-term decision, but we also were trying to project ahead. What's the future of the HFL in general, and how can we make the most of this? So I think, the interesting thing about Ironbank, it was only established in 1986.
Yes.
And our pioneers, our life members who we love dearly, they're still alive and they're still around the place.
Yeah.
But they've been open-hearted and open-minded about all of those things.
Can I ask you the timeline, which is always, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously your decision to merge and everything, that was made prior to the decision that's come about for the country division now having a viable junior competition. So if that had been available, would Ironbank have still stayed in that comp?
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think that we're fairly aspirational as a footy club. And I think that we want to be in that situation where there was juniors all the way through. We're been the only club in country that's put women on the park. What this gives us the opportunity to do as a club is to have a wider footprint. You know, Ironbank has this fabulous club song, which is full of irony, that there's a footy team in town, and then we say it again, in the town of Ironbank. Well, as people will know, there's no town in Ironbank. No. There's nothing.
That always attracts me.
Well, I think it's irony and it's humorous and it's gold. But what coming together with Bridgewater is it widens our footprint, and it gives us real opportunity. And we just want to believe in who we are, our culture. And because we've already had a good relationship with Bridgewater, we think it can work.
No, look, it's an exciting new era, if I can use that word.
It is.
History of the Hills Football League, because the newest club, if I can use that terminology, because obviously after this season you've got the memo of understanding. So then you go through the process of formally joining together, like a new club constitution, etc. So it's an exciting time. And
It is. It is.
You know,
it is.
Obviously a testing time too. But
it is a testing time. It was those 7 weeks were tough. And we've got ourselves on the park here. And we'll see how it goes. But we've got a medium and a long-term vision for the footy club, and we trust in its people and its culture.
Fantastic. And of course, I reckon 3 weeks, if I'm right, you'll be celebrating one of the great careers. Will Muir, I think game number 297 today. I think he was telling me.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he is indeed.
He's a legend.
People have stuck by the club. And,
well, he's right up there, isn't he? He's out there today, and we love Will.
Certainly is.
He's an ornament of our football club.
Excellent. All right, Brandon, we wish
you all
the best for today.
Yeah, good on you.
No doubt we'll catch up with
you
in a while. Thanks
for
your time. Brandon Chapman there joining us, the president of the Ironbank Football Club. As Ironbank have made their way onto the ground here. Benny Goldfinch just slipping back into the central commentary position here.
Yeah, Pistols, Jayden Jay Hill. I've sent him out there on a mission just to bring us update on what Bridgewater, or Aztec Oval, Bridgewater Oval is looking like out there, Pistols, because of course a lot of work goes into it over the off-season with some loyal volunteers at the club, as you know firsthand. Have transformed this ground over the last few years, including Volunteers of the Year, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Andy Fraser, yes, indeed.
So Jane's going to start out in the middle. All going well, we should be able to connect to him shortly. It's not too far out there. So, James has just got the camera on Mt Lofty group at the moment, just going through their paces. So, Jayden.
Just here out in the middle of the ground. Looking very, very good at the moment. Obviously the cricket pitch there, and can't complain about the conditions here at Bridgewater Oval. Looking at both teams, Mt Lofty are looking good in the warm-up, and so is Bridgewater as well. We're just doing a bit of kick-to-kick action there. So great conditions, no breeze whatsoever. So it should be an absolute cracker, and as they say, a great day for football. So, and like I said, the grass is in perfect condition as well. Ground staff have done an awesome job. So this should be an absolute cracking match. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jayden Jay Hill.
Look at it. Look at the footwear.
He's got the R.M. Williams on. He looks like a real estate salesman out there, doesn't he? Jayden Jay, of course, doing some great stuff. And trust you're enjoying our worldwide stream here on the Call to Wild, the vibe of Hills footy. And Benny, a few late withdrawals from the Mt Lofty team as you go through the lineup.
Sure, Pistols. Will do. Will Jordans, Jake Aish, Will Sherman, as we had. Sam Miles pre-game, he's not playing. Alex Weeks, the captain. Declan Carmody. Sam McTaggart, who picked up the thongs in the opening round match, Pistols, which we're giving out today, of course. The prized pair of thongs that we've got here. Alexander Whitwell, Archer Borden, Ned Maguire, Will Turner, Kai Tucker, keen to see how he goes after coming across from Blackwood. Tyson Hone, who is returning after a stellar career with Sturt, including last year's reserve premiership. few actually back from reserves from Sturt this season in the Hills Football League competition. Ash Eckerman, he was out before, had a bit of a chat to him. He looks good to go. Vice-captain this season in his second year at Mt Lofty after coming across from Harndorf. Wes Weeks, Harry Morby, of course no Harry Weeks today. Bennett Wood, Joel Wilson, Nicholas Thompson, Josh Sykes coming across from Birdwood. Great start to the season with a bag of goals against Blackwood. And emergencies Felix Farmer and Bailey Collins.
Well, actually, Harry Weeks and Sammy Miles withdrawal.
Yep.
Bailey Collins and Felix Farmer.
Sorry.
Are coming into
the
game.
lineup. There you go.
Felix Farmer, the debutant, and also number 15, Ned Maguire, is the ruck replacement, I think, for Riley Grundy, who's overseas, I believe, so he'll be missing. Now, the Ironbank Bridgewater combination.
I'll keep an eye on the coin toss here. Chris Morgan, of course, and Alex Weeks.
Chase Woolley, we might just take this in, because Chris Morgan, happy birthday for the other week, turned 30.
People out in the Hyson Trail already.
Undecided.
That's a
Chris
good
Morgan
start.
has won it, and we'll kick to the left of screen by the looks at the cliff end. Chase Woolley, Tyler Quinn, Will Mewden, as we said, game number 297. Alec Bryers, Jackson Ferres, Levi Grigg, William Bryers, Connor Lidstone, Benny O'Donnell, Bustling Benny, Jacob Hoeffel, Nick Marshall, Chris Morgan, the skipper, Benny Marsh, one of the original Raiders, Ethan Hales, Matt Kruger, Mitchell Davis, Jayden Ray, Kane O'Brien, Jed Davis, Eric Klinky, interesting man who flies in, I think, from the Territory.
Correct.
That's a lot. And Josh Marshall.
Klinky, a new recruit from up in Darwin, plays ruck.
Yeah, the Nightcliff Tigers.
And can play key forward. Might struggle in the cold weather. Well, he'll be all right today. Basketball background.
Well, I was watching a bit of the rugby last night from Darwin. It was absolutely sheeting down up there, so at least it's dry down here today.
Early comment coming in. Will Fernhead, he said, Ben Brackett's O'Donnell has the candy shop open today, I heard.
Well, tell Willie if he's available to come around and if he's here today to pick up his
special
beanie.
Comments. Beanie.
Which you have, because
that's right.
The beanie and the Archie's thongs on offer for the best player as judged by our commentary team, or more so Jayden Jay Hill.
And Jayden's going to, if he's up for it, get into the calling action in the third quarter. Pistols.
Righto.
Because we need to have good spread throughout the year. So Jayden is ready to roll in that third, Jayden.
So the Cutting Cup on offer here. Prize possession. Mt Lofty have not won this cup, Jayden, I think since 2011.
Just those stats again, Jayden.
So, last time, Bridgewater in 2021, they won 86 to 58 when they stormed home Pistols in that one at Bridgewater here. So, the last year, Mt Lofty too good, 93 to 76. The average margin between Bridgewater and Mt Lofty in general was 40.25 since 2010. So, as we see the umpire lift the ball here.
So Wes Weeks will be leading the ruck for Lofty against Clinky. So we're underway, Cutting Cup for 2023. Clinky gets the ball down, taken away here by Levi Grigg. So it's the Thunderers, now Raiders, up towards the forward line. Ball out of bounds, and expect quick movement on this small ground. Of course, the umpires in charge today, Benny Grant Sims, Leon Dolling, Jordan Crisp, James Woodward, Travis Mueller, Trevor McDonald, and Darryl Wood.
Boundary throw-in inside the Thunder Raider forward line. And just to target their Pistols, number 5, Jackson Ferris, a big-bodied key forward who thinks a little too much about his own rig, apparently. There you go. So,
right?
So we've got some good information here that's been
behind
provided.
The scenes, that's what we like to hear on the Call of the Wild. Spent some time playing for the Bond at Uni in the Quaffle Reserves, previous to Adelaide Uni. So
there you go. Boundary, so it's inside 50 here for the host, but it's rushed through for a minor score. So we're going to go. Are we going to go to the Iron Raiders? You happy with that? We'll go Iron Raiders. There we go. They get a early point on the board, and Borden will bring the ball in for the Devils.
Shows a bit of candy, gets round the man on the mark there. And Marshall puts it towards the centre, bouncing ball. Here's a chance for Alex Wick, the skipper. Goes to ground, Wes lurking, comes out here to Clinky. Campbell's out here wide, taken by Alex Bryce, goes backwards, goes forward. Snapped up here by Aish. Goes long, and I tell you what, that's a pretty good start. Aish. Jake Aish, sorry. Carl, the father, because 90 seconds into the game, just turning back the clock there, Carl.
Yeah, Mt Lofty Junior returned to the club after playing at Sturt in the under-18s and reserves last season. Was a Crows Next Generation Academy player as a junior, hard at the ball, good around the goal, and a fiery and excellent energy, a rising star of the HFL. And I was just going to say that Iron Raiders had started well with their intensity, but the ball popped out the back, and on this oval, you're made to pay for any mistake.
Any turnovers, it's about to say, errant possession there. So it's Weeks, the West variety, back against Big Clinky to fly in, man. And he flies high and gets the tap this time. Cricket pitch area, coming through strongly. I think it was Marshall, got the ball back. Clinky with a clearing kick, bouncing forward. Devils defence in action again. Oh, nicely gathered there. So you don't see a Morby.
Borden.
Got it to Borden, who's been in the action already. Puts it out wide, trying to keep the ball in there, I think. Devils,
Iron Raiders getting some repeat forward entries here. So Chris Morgan winning the coin toss. Kick forward by Iron Raiders. Inside attacking 50, but chopped out. Target here on the halfback flank is Sam McTaggart. Best on in that opening match against the Woods. Kicks it to the wing. Putting up the mitt there was Ben Marsh. Meantime, Briers tried to flick it on to Marsh, and he's wrapped up in the tackle there by Tyson Hone, as I said, coming back from Sturt after winning the premiership last year in the reserves.
You can just see Coach Borden obviously instructed the Devils to be around in numbers around every contest, as they are again, just applying the pressure. Wes Weeks at ground level. Umpire calls in and will come and ball up. Looking very iridescent green here, umpires today. New shirts.
Yeah, Grant Sims, Leon Doling and Jordan Crest.
Alex Weeks going to get out to McTaggart. He does. The excitement machine goes to ground. Pushed off was Ace, the goal kicker. Good work by Briers. Got the Quinn. The pass West Adelaide boy puts it forward. Fisted forward. Good play by Marshall. Here's a chance. Running on it. Morgan in there. Overruns the ball. Comes back out here. Stacks on the mill. About 10-15 metres out from the Iron Raiders goal. And umpire will come in and ball it up.
Yeah, well, they started well against Uraidla in round one, but just ran out of legs in that second half. So hot conditions today at Bridgewater. So let's see how the Iron Raiders start this one. So far, good intensity. Chain of handballs, and that's smothered out of bounds. So good forward line pressure there by the Iron Raiders. And we've got a boundary throw in. Boundary umpires Jordan Crest, James Woodward, Travis Neller, and Trevor Mack and Darryl Wood doing the goal. So boundary throw in inside Iron Raiders forward line. Had the majority of the forward entries. One inside 50 for Mt Lofty, which resulted in a goal to Aish over the back. Clearing kick there by Declan Carmody. Good use of the body. Handball out from Whitwell into space. Running forward. Here's a chance for Sherman. Into the pocket finds Josh Sykes. And Mt Lofty with a spearhead this season. Pistols have had some great spearheads over, previous years with Benny Gordon.
Yep. Yeah, the flash.
So he's going to have a shot from goal here.
Had a good debut in the red and white in Division 1. Of course, played for Birdwood in the country division. Kicked 40 goals last year, Benny, to be their leading goal kicker. As I said, started off with a bag of 5 last week for the Devils. Here's his opportunity to kick his first goal for the Devils at Bridgewater Oval. Cute angle in the right foot. Comes through. Has got it. So the Devils, after 5.5 minutes of play, they've skipped clear 2 goals to 1 behind here on HFL Call of the Wild. Jayden Jay.
Making the most of their chances here.
Yeah, they sure are. So Mt Lofty got their first goal with their only second kick of the game, and now after 8 kicks they've got 2 goals, 2 inside 50s as well. Ironbank Bridgewater have 5 kicks and 7 handballs for 3 inside 50s. Pistols.
So back in the middle, umpire's just retrieving the ball from the
At least
creek.
we haven't got the problem with the ball in the creek today, Goldie, because it's pretty dry, so she's not flowing like the Murray has been.
The bridge is looking good too.
Yes, ice and trail. No doubt we'll get the dog of the day wandering down the trail soon. Koala of the day, it all happens down here at Raider Park.
So Rucks will go at it here. As we said, Clinky. No Grundy today for Mt Lofty. Meantime, Hone clears the ball from the middle of the ground with a high kick. Inside attacking 50 for the Devils. Free kick, push out.
Yep.
So Ironbank with the opportunity to clear the ball out of defence is Lidstone. Half back line. Good mark, good pace. Jayden Ray. He kicks it up to the interchange wing, but chop out mark there by Eckerman. So Mt Lofty just starting to settle into it here.
Second year,
Oop.
vice captain, kick intercepted
Woolley.
there. Taken by Chase Woolley. Sends it back from where it come. Good fist there by ever reliable Nick Thompson.
Yeah, I don't know if we can have a look at that replay sometime, Tommy. The beautiful punch there. That's what his job
I
is.
thought you
And
were
he
going
did
to talk
it
about the
perfectly.
Fabio locks he's got this year.
That
Nick
too,
Thompson.
Pistols. Yeah.
Has had a haircut for about 3 years, I reckon.
Boundary throw in.
Throw in. Wesley Weeks in front, gets the ball. Chance here. Places Woolley. Taking there, trying to shrug his way clear was Decky Carmody. Locked up. And the umpire will come in and ball it up in the tight confines here. Call to Wild. We have played just over 7 minutes. It's the Devils in charge 2 straight to 1 behind from the Iron Raiders. Ball comes down, locked up.